darling viewers, it's Jen here at Check Her Joy, and this time I'm reviewing Eleanor and Park by Rainbow Rowell. So Eleanor and Park is a young adult romance. It's set in the 1980s, and the two main characters are both misfits. And it's adorable, and I super love it, but it's also pretty deep. They're not like your typical romance story going on here. This book deals with racism and bullying and body image and poverty and domestic abuse and child abuse. So lots of complicated things happening in this. It is definitely not a straightforward story. So Eleanor is weird. There's pretty much no other way to describe Eleanor. She has this frizzy red hair, and she is chubby, and she doesn't look like everybody else. She also doesn't dress like everybody else, and she doesn't act like anybody else. So she definitely stands out, and she doesn't feel included. And this is high school, especially in the 80s, and there is a lot of bullying going on. So Eleanor comes from this large family. I think there are 5 kids, including Eleanor, or does she have 5 younger siblings? Anyway, Eleanor comes from a large family, lots of younger siblings to help look after. She's living with her mom and her stepdad is abusive, and they are poor and broke, and her home life just, it sucks. That's what's going on. Her home life sucks. She has to share a room with all of her siblings, and she has no, personal space and privacy. Her siblings go through her stuff. It's pretty much awful. The reason why she doesn't dress like everybody else is because she has to buy everything at thrift stores, and even then, she can't always get stuff. So what she has is this hodgepodge collection of clothes that are wearing out. They have holes in them. A lot of them are guys' clothing. The fact that she's chubby also makes it harder to find clothes that fit. So she definitely does not look cool by any standards, not even the 80s. And then her stepfather is just horrible. He is alcoholic and abusive, and he's yelling at them, and Eleanor is legitly scared to be at home. She's afraid he's going to hit her or do something worse. He's threatened to kill her before. She legitly thinks that her stepfather could kill her. She's pretty stressed out. She stands out because of the way that she looks, and she has no self-esteem because of the environment she's growing up in and the fact that she's been bullied in school. So when she starts at a new school, she is immediately getting bullied. Second main character in this book is Park. He is Asian. I think his mom's from Korea or Vietnam, one of the two. So Park is the only Asian kid at his entire school, other than his brother, who looks white, takes after their dad. So Park stands out quite a bit. He's gotten his share of bullying in the past. He's managed to find his spot in the school. He lives next door to one of the popular guys, so he's managing to, keep the status quo. Keep your head down, don't cause any problems. He's not going to be popular, but he's not getting bullied anymore either. So when he sees Eleanor for the first time, he's trying to distance himself from her. I do not need you bringing my social standing down. I finally stopped getting bullied. I am not about to start again. Park's home life is pretty comfortable, actually. He's got both his parents there together. They love each other terribly. He's got the brother. They are doing well off. They have money. The house is a safe environment for the most part. He does have a little bit of tension with his dad, who has different opinions about how Park should act. So Park is maybe a little more feminine than his dad would like him to be. So they get into fights about the fact that Park's not acting masculine enough. And that his father definitely likes the brother better. And, there's just sibling rivalry, normal sibling fighting between Park and his brother. So they meet the first time Eleanor goes to her new school, and she gets on the bus, and she's trying to find a spot, and every single seat on the bus is taken. Everyone reserves the seat. They have the same seats all year round. Everyone knows it. You don't sit in somebody else's bench. If somebody has an open seat on there, they aren't going to give it up. And so Eleanor starts getting bullied immediately for being the new kid and for looking weird. And Park is just can you just stop? So he tells her just to sit. Actually, he kind of swears at her. But basically, Park's just sit down so we can get this over with. And then they don't talk to each other. And it's kind of awkward. We get to see how Park sees Eleanor at first, and he sees her like everybody else in the class does. And it's not great. So their slow relationship build is really the key part of this book, I think. At first they're not talking, and then Park reads comics on the bus, and he notices that Eleanor is reading the comics over his shoulder, so he just, takes his time, turns the pages slowly, makes sure Eleanor's got to the end of the page where he flips them, and then he starts telling her, like take this comic. You know, why don't you read this at home? Lending her comics and making her mixtapes and music, and just slowly becoming friends. And then they slowly start realizing that they like each other. Eleanor has this thing where she doesn't like all the things that make her stand out, but on the other hand, those are exactly the things that Park starts to like about her and finds attractive and interesting. The fact that she doesn't dress like anybody else, or the fact that she has different opinions about pop culture. So as the book goes on, we also find out more about Park, and he has got his own share of insecurities. A lot of them have to do with the fact that he is Asian and how he is expected to act versus how he wants to act. And so he feels this pull to act outside expectations and to act countercultural. And while Eleanor can do that, he envies that. He slowly starts also being himself more and being different. Trying not to spoil what happens at the end of this book, but I appreciated the ending of this book. It's pretty awesome. It's not where I would necessarily hope it would go, but I still enjoyed it and it felt organic to the story and these characters, and I understand why it happened, and I love it. I definitely need like a reading / watch list off of this. Like, what comics do I need to go read? What movies? What music? There's tons and tons of 80s pop culture thrown throughout this. Talking especially about the Watchmen comics. So, totally I need to read those now. The book itself is written in a third person perspective, but half of it follows Eleanor and half of it follows Park. So sometimes we get inside Park's head and sometimes we get inside Eleanor's head and how they're feeling and thinking and their situations, and it's great. They're so cute together, guys. They're adorable together. Like their first time they hold hands and the first time they kiss, like all their relationship firsts are just so adorable, and I love it. So yes, guys, I really love Eleanor and Park by Rainbow Rowell. I gave it 4 stars. I definitely recommend it. Let me know in the comments below if you've read this book or read anything similar to it. What else should I be reading? Besides, obviously, all of Rainbow Rowell's books. Duh. So feel free to like, share, and subscribe. And peace out. I love you guys, and keep reading. Bye!